Hey guys, did any of you ever play hockey as a kid? Did you ever have to swallow your pride after a loss and shake the hands of the team that beat you? If so, then you're better people than some Olympians. Racism and regressive ideologies in sport. Game on! By now, you may have heard of the unsportsmanlike conduct of Egyptian Olympic judo competitor Islam El-Shahabi, refusing to shake the hand of his Israeli opponent after being defeated in the men's 100-kilogram competition. And if you haven't, well, now you know.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Seriously though, this is absolutely despicable. And honestly, I wish I was making up the Egyptian athlete's name. A guy named Islam refusing to shake hands with an Israeli? Sometimes the gods of happenstance really do come through on shit. Now, normally I'd let supremely petty shit like this slide. Okay, who am I kidding? No, I wouldn't. But this particular form of poor sportsmanship, refusing to swallow one's pride in defeat and acknowledge with honor that they were defeated, that's just deplorable. As I mentioned in the intro, I played hockey a lot and lacrosse as a kid, 8 years each to be exact. And one thing never changed. Okay, that was the end of the game, win or lose, you lined up with the other team and went down the line shaking hands. You might have come out on top, or you might have gotten your asses handed to you. But you set all of that aside and shook hands. At the very least, you fist bumped gloves and said, "Good game." To this day, when I'm gaming online, win or lose, I send a sincere GGWP to the other team at the end of each match. For those of you unfamiliar, that's good game, well played. Personally, this snub of an honorable competitor is nothing short of deplorable, full stop. I don't care what El-Shahabi's reason was for declining to shake the Israeli judoka's hand. That he refused with flagrant disrespect for the spirit of the games to shake his hand is enough for me to condemn his actions. Motive here is irrelevant. If you watch the replay of the match, at its conclusion after both athletes have stood up and returned to their respective sides, Or Sasson, the Israeli judoka, bows to El-Shahabi and steps forward to shake his hand. This practice is part of the judo tradition and symbolizes respect and honor amongst competitors. Again, I can't say this enough, this is absolutely disgraceful, and El-Shahabi should be ashamed of his actions. I can't possibly imagine the talking to that I would have received from my father, if not a rap or two across the backside, had I ever just refused to shake hands with the other team. To be honest, I think he probably would have jumped the boards at me, or at the very least been the first parent into the dressing room post-game to rip me a new one. And I wouldn't blame him one bit. You see, respect and sportsmanship is what makes athletic competition possible. Hell, in ancient Athens, Olympic nations did not go to war during the games as a sign of respect. Now, this was probably a show of respect to the gods, but the fact remains that they understood that sportsmanship was a good thing, and poor sportsmanship was something to be denounced. The games haven't been all bad, however. As it is with Olympic tradition, the vast majority of the events have been conducted with due respect and consideration for all the competitors, with one particular standout gesture of good sportsmanship. This right here is a picture of the North and South Korean gymnasts Hong Eun-jong and Lee Yoon-ji, North and South respectively, taking a selfie during the training period before the start of the games. Yep, these two young athletes, whose nations are still technically at war with one another, stopped to share in a moment of sportsmanship in the true Olympic spirit. If you need another example, here's a snapshot taken of Canada's Rod Seiling and Pete Mahovlich shaking hands with Vyacheslav Anisin and Vladislav Tretiak of the Soviet Union right after Game 8 of the 1972 Summit Series. This was the height of the Cold War, and yet the athletes from each nation still came together in a display of respect, independent of international politics, to commend one another for a game well played. Just one more thing that makes hockey one of the greatest sports on the face of the earth, its ability to bring people together and cultivate respect. Now I get it, the issues between Islam and Judaism run a lot further back into the archives of the world than the schism between North and South Korea. But let's take a moment to think of the amount of rhetoric and propaganda that gets put out by the North and South Korean governments, and how heated things have become in the last couple of years. This display of good faith is something that absolutely must be highlighted and praised. But that's just my take on things. What does sportsmanship mean to you? Does it make up the foundation of athletic competition, or is it an archaic concept with no place in the modern arena? Leave a comment and let me know. Until next time, guys, this has been JT Viper. Have a good one.